Hey guys, it's a Real Average Angler. I'm Wes D. Here at Dick's Sporting Goods in Seabrook, New Hampshire. Figured what would be more fitting for my first episode of the show than to come and show you buying a fishing rod, some fishing gear, get you out on the water, get you fishing. So figured I'd come. I got $50 Dick's cash to spend. We'll see what we can get. $50 and get out and catch some fish. Been scoping around. The first thing I see is this rod here. It's a Berkley Cherrywood Black Max spinning combo. It's a 7-foot rod. It's a 7-foot medium spinning. Feels like it has a really nice action. It's a little, it's not real floppy like a lot of cheaper rods. The reel has a really good anti-reverse. It's a 4 bearing. Which is kind of high for this cheap of a combo, but it really feels really nice. Abu Garcia Black Max. We'll see how it works out. So we'll start with that. Next thing we're gonna need some weights. I'm gonna go with these bullet weights, steel worm weights. They're dark, so they don't shine and scare. I'm gonna start with, I think, go with an 8-ounce, $2.29. Oh, I didn't mention the rod and reel combo was on sale. It was only $29.99, marked down from $39.99. So there's a good thing about shopping in the late into the season. VMC. We're gonna go with the VMC wide gap hooks. And I'm gonna go with a 3/0 or a 4/0. We're gonna go with a 4/0 for $3.99. We got our weights, we got our hooks, our rod. We need some rubber worms. Actually, before we get the rubber worms, we're gonna need to get some fishing line. Some of the combos come spooled with fishing line already, but you can see this one's empty. It doesn't have any on it right now. So we're gonna have to get something. I would recommend for anybody buying fishing line to start with braid. So they have this 20-pound braid, so it's a good weight that'll work with just about any kind of fishing style and lure. And it's on sale for $8.99, so we're gonna go with that. And lastly, we need some worms. There's obviously many types of baits. Many types of baits you can get. In one of my later videos, I'll show you guys like my 5 top favorite baits and the prices on those. But for now, where we have a $50 budget, I think I have $37.50. Another 9, so $46.50. So I got another $3.50 I can spend. So I think what we'll do is we'll grab a pack of these worms right here. What are these? Motor oil with fluorescent green tips on the tails. Great color all around. Really good color, go-to color. What did I say? We had $3.50. So I got another $1.50 to spend. What can we do with $1.50? Geez, I don't know. Do we go with the better worms? You know what? Why don't we go with the better worms? We're gonna put these guys back because they're good to get you by. They're $1.99. I use them and like them, but these guys are a little better. They're $3, same style, a little better action. They're the Yum Dingers. Very, very good worms. All right, so I guess we'll head up to the register, pay for this stuff, and we'll get out there and go fishing. First, I gotta find my cohort. One of the 3. Oh, let's take a look at what's in the hands. Can't tell, there's no prices on anything, so it really doesn't do any good, but always shop your clearance section. Be amazed what you can find. Alright, let's head up to the register and we'll pay, see how we did. Alright, we are outside of Dick's. Let's take one final look at what we got here. So just so you guys can see, this is the final receipt. We'll make sure none of my personal information is on there. It is not. So we got the Cherrywood fishing rod for $29.98. Barrel swivels for $1.29. Sinkers for $2.29. Yumdingers for $2.99. Braided line for $8.99. And the wide gap hooks for $3.99 for a total of $49.53, costing me nothing from Dick's Cash. Total savings of $59. So there you go. You see, for 50 bucks, under 50 bucks, you can go get everything you need to get out there, get fishing. I will put a follow-up video to this of us catching some fish with this gear. So I'm back. We're at my camp. I got all our gear that we purchased in the Dick's Challenge. I want to go over a little bit of it. I kind of ripped through Dick's, and I know I didn't really explain why I bought what I bought. So let me tell you a little bit about it and fill you in. So we'll start with the rod and the reel. This is a spinning reel, and I chose this reel because it's the most versatile reel there is. It's pretty much, it will do everything. There's nothing you really can't do with it. Below this you have the standard push button casting reels that we all grew up with. They're great for like 2 weeks to teach your kid how to cast. After that, these are as easy as a casting reel. So that's why I chose this style, and what I went with was a length that was roughly, you want the longest you can get, depending on the conditions you're fishing with. If you're fishing in the woods, you got to think about trees, overhanging limbs, things like that you're going to get caught in. So something like a 5'8", 6-foot rod is really, really good, but it does limit certain things, castability, stuff like that. So I went with the longest I could get for this thing is a 7 foot, because she'll be fishing out of her kayak and on the boat. So that's why I went with this one, and it's a medium action, which is good for everything. I mean, yeah, it's going to be limited. It's not perfect for everything. It's obviously some things it's not even really great for, but it'll do everything. It at least gets it done. So if you're buying one rod and reel, this is the average down the road, do the most bang for the buck. When I chose a reel, what I was looking for is bearing count. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good reel, but the more bearings that are in it, the more fluid the reel will be. It's tight feeling, solid, and in length of life, what you'll get for life out of it, because you can take this apart and grease it, clean it, oil it, do all the stuff you need to maintain it, and it can last you forever if you do take care of it well. So that's why I went with this rod and reel setup. And for that money, you couldn't beat it. I didn't even know until after we left Dick's that there was actually a $10 mail-in rebate on this too, so it really only cost me $29.99. I don't think you can even buy that reel at Walmart for that much. They sell the Black Max series at Walmart, and I think it's more than that. The next thing I chose were the Yumdinger worms. Stick bait worm. It's if you can't catch fish on stick bait worms, you're in trouble. This thing is just all around one of the best bangs for the buck. Color, I went with the watermelon with black flake because it works in dark water, clear water, works in everything. It's not the best for everything, but it works. So that's why I went with these worms. And the Yumdingers are great. The scent they put in them, I think they recently changed it to some like F2 or something. I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but that's why I chose those. As for the hooks, the next thing, because I was fishing the worms, I went with a wide gap, offset eyelet. so that I can rig these worms weedless, and in a minute I'll show you how to put a worm on and rig it weedless. These VMC wide gaps are fantastic. They put a little epoxy resin around the eyelet. I don't know if you can see that in the picture here. It covers where the wire is wrapped, and there's a little gap which can nick your line. It can cut it. Your line can actually slip out of it. So they put a resin around that, which is fantastic. I love it, and this is going to be my go-to as long as they keep making them, because they're strong too for such a thin gauge. And I went with the 4.0 because it's a perfect size for all around. And next, the line. In this case I chose to go with a braid. I went with a 20-pound Suffix braid, which is equivalent to a, I believe an 8-pound test. Does it say on here? They usually do tell you. On this one it doesn't, but I want to say this is like equivalent to a 6 or an 8-pound fluorocarbon line. So for the diameter, you're getting 4 times the strength. So all around, when you're fishing and you're learning and you're fishing near trees and stuff, you're going to get up in them. There's only one way. You eat fluorocarbon, you're not going to get it out. With this, you can yank it out of there, obviously being smart not to damage your equipment. But I've retrieved almost all lures I've ever gotten in the wood because of braid. It's just all around great. Yeah, I'm showing you the worst case scenario you can do with it. I'm going to fish a stick bait worm on braid with no fluorocarbon leader. I don't use leaders. Yeah, I don't use leaders when I'm fishing tournament. But I don't fish a worm on braid typically because I have the option. But in this case, we're going bang for buck and all around. We're going to fish the worm on the braid. I'm going to show you catch fish on braid with a worm. And then I had a couple bucks to spend, so we grabbed some swivels. These are good for tying on to different lures. Anything that is turning in the water and it's twisting your line, twisting your line. In the braid it's not so noticeable, but in the fluorocarbon it will put a twist in the memory of the line and it'll ruin your line. So certain lures like the whopper plopper, worms, swivels are really good to use. These are kind of really cheap junky ones, big. I rushed through to get them for another buck more. I think it is. You can get really good small that are really tight and good swivels. I'd recommend those instead. But that's all the equipment. That's all the gear I bought for the $50 challenge. I will do another one later with the $10 I get back from the mail-in rebate, where I see what we can buy with 10 bucks. But for now, let me show you how to throw one of those worms on, and we'll get out down there and we'll see if we can catch a fish. It's not the best time, but it's not the worst time either. It's starting to get a little close to afternoon, to noon time. Alright. So, what you want to do is you have this offset on this little shank on the hook. That's where the tip of the worm is going to sit. So when you come down through the very center of the tip, you want to go that distance down and then come right out the side. And what you want to come out opposite the side where this little line hook guard is. Or you really don't even have to. I don't even use the thing usually. I don't even pay attention to it, but just for the video we'll do it. This is so for your part of your weedless. Kind of hides the tip down in the worm a little bit. So we're going to go down right through the center of the tip. About, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, the length of that. And then make sure I'm opposite that groove, and I'm going to come right out of the worm. Then I'm just going to slide that up over the worm, over that little bend, and turn it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide that right up over the eyelet to the worm too. And what that'll do is when a fish bites it, instead of destroying the worm and ripping it off the hook, it'll slide up the fishing line and get out of the way. So then you're going to hold your worm so that it's equal with how you're going to have it on the hook. That way it's nice and straight. You want that to hang totally perfectly straight on that hook. And you're going to mark it with your thumb where you want the tip of the hook to go through. And I'm just going to come up right at the tip of my thumb in the center. I'm going to put the tip through. And I'm going to come out right in that little channel they make for the hook to hide. Pull it down. And right there you can fish it just like that. As you can see, it's almost perfectly straight. And that will guard it, but when you push it in, you'll expose that tip, which will still make you hooked on stuff. So what I like to do is then I come back here and I just kind of push back up this direction, stretch it a little bit, and put just the tip down into the worm. I don't know if you can see that, but when a fish bites that, it'll rip it right back out and it'll hook him. But for now, you can run your finger over it and not get hooked on the tip. So right now we're running this without a weight, which isn't really the best way, except here I'm trying to go for a slow dropping presentation. So I'm going to run it without the weight, which I do like to do, and we'll see how that works. If not, we'll throw one of the bullet weights we bought on, worm weights, which I did not tell you about, and I will after. Alright, let's see what we can do. Fishing with one of the, I know this still, a lot of what I'm saying is basic beginner stuff, but we're gonna go through everything throughout my videos, fit everybody in every style and level of skill. But when you're using a casting reel, a lot of people like to crank the handle to flip the bail back over. Don't do that. After you cast, use your hand and just flip this back over before you start reeling. I'll show you. Cast it out. Let that sink, flip that over by hand before you start reeling. If you don't, it'll put a little twist every time you do that in your line. And again, on braid it's not so important, but for fluorocarbon it'll ruin your fishing line. What I'm doing is just letting that sink, and then I'm popping it a little bit, just kind of wiggling it. It's going to make it wiggle in the water, kind of like a worm would, or show you the, let me reel this in. You guys could give a like and a comment on the video for this shirt my wife made. New swag, I'm pretty proud of it. It's Major League Angler. I designed the logo, she made the prints and put it on the shirt. I can do them on any kind of shirt. I don't really have them for sale, but if somebody's interested and wants one, let me know. I can make one up and see. But throw a comment. Thank her for it. I really appreciate it. Guys, so we've relocated to the other side here. There's really not a lot of room to fish, but we're going to see what we can do. Might work my way up a little bit further too, but Getting closer to these pads and everything might be a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it to get it in, because here obviously you're not casting anywhere. So she didn't make it to the camera, but she's going to come back and we're going to see if we can get more. I just got this guy. Come on over to the rock.
Jeepers.
That's the reason why I like grade 2. You come running through the woods with a fish on your line, tangled and everything. But you can see that. See how it pushed right up it didn't pop off onto the line, but it came right up. So that the worm's out of the way. I wasn't going to lose it. It's still reusable. Pop that out of there. It's a little guy. I mean, I don't know if he's half a pound, but nice and dark, largemouth, healthy. Let's go get him back in the water. I'll do it right here. Now you make your way over there with me, and I should have known that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I was saying in my head, I'm like, you watch, I'm going to catch one when she's not with me. Alright, so fix my worm here and get back at it. It's simple now is just kind of just pushing it right back to where it was. Rehooking that tip. The worm's pretty messed up. Such a little guy, he was feisty. I wouldn't even try to throw anything into this stuff if it wasn't on braid. There'd be almost no chance of retrieving a fish out of here. really easy for that hook to come out of there, to come out of. Come on. Come on. That's a good one. Oh. I almost fell in the water. Oh, I lost the hook.
You lost the hook?
Yeah.
And your worm?
Yeah.
And so now you're taking the walk of shame?
Yeah, did you see that?
I'm not sure. Alright, well we're going back to reload. But we did catch one fish.
Yeah.
Not that we saw it, but...
Missed two.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it. That was a big one. That one right there was a big one. He dove down into the pads too, so I was like just ripping and ripping, trying to pull him, get him up out of there, and I might have had a fray in my line from all of the rubbing on all the wood, I don't know.
Trying to cast in between branches and...
Yeah, you really want to make sure you run your finger along it when you see any fray and cut it back and retie if you need to. I don't know if there is. I might have just broke it. It's 20 pound, I mean. Yeah, looks like I might have just broke it.
When you say 20 pound, you're not necessarily meaning it's going to be a 20 pound fish.
No, the line is a 20 pound test line, so if you hang, it takes 20 pounds of force to break this line. So if you were hanging it from a ceiling, you could hang 20 pounds from it and it wouldn't break. 21 it would break. Or whatever, you know, right in that vicinity. So when he was in there and I was really yanking.
And there's friction, another... Is friction the right word?
Yeah, and he's pulling the other way. He's around a lily pad or whatever, it happens. Hey, you suck it up and get him next time.
That's why you get more than one worm and more than one hook.
That's right. That's why it's called fishing and not catching.
Alright, we're going to go readjust.
Get out of here, yeah, tie on another one and maybe come back later. Alright guys, so we're back. You saw what just happened. That's the real deal, that's the game. Sometimes you lose your gear. So I hooked into that. Was a good fish. That was a big fish. I really wish I could have caught it to show it to you guys. I'm bummed, but it is what it is. Cast it into the pads. I was dragging across the pads. I saw him start to chase it. I dropped it into the hole, but was still in the pads. And he grabbed it, went right down deep, and I tried to rip him out of the lily pads, get him up over to the top of them, and I snapped the line. He must have been around him. Whatever. It is what it is. That's the deal. That's the game. That's what makes us keep doing this. So you saw what happened. That's why you get a pack. They come with 8 of them. You get yourself some worms. I still have another 3 shots I can do that. Hopefully at least a few of them I bring in. Not that like that little guy, but you saw it happen. You go out there with less than 50 bucks. I caught a fish for you guys in, I don't know, probably less than 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So actually had 3 good ones, you know, the other 2, but lost them both. But I was fishing really conditions you don't want to fish a rubber worm necessarily. I was pitching in the back of a whole entire lily pad bed onto the shore and then trying to pull them through it. Stuff like that, you're not usually going to win, but when you do, it feels good. So that's the deal with that. That's done. Hope you guys saw it doesn't take a lot of money to get into fishing, to get out and have some fun. And then the more you learn and the more you have fun with it, if you get hooked, you can slowly start progressing into bags, more gear. It becomes an addiction. They're tools. It's like a mechanic's toolbox. You know, the more tools you have, the easier it is to do the job. Keep an eye out. I'm going to have another video. I know I kind of showed you how to rig that worm weedless, but I will do a video dedicated on how to rig different soft plastics. Upcoming video I'm going to do next, probably either today or tomorrow. I bought this swim bait. It's kind of a typical jointed wake bait. It's It's made by Throwback Lures. Actually, this thing was on Outlet Baits, Overstockbaits.com. It was $10, marked down to $10 now. The bummer is I don't even think you can get it anymore. They do have a website. It's right on the bottom here. Well, it's Throwback Fishing Lures is the brand name. And then on the bottom of the lure, it's www.throwbacklures.com or something like that. I'm not looking at it. And this lure itself is called the Minnow Dog 9. It's a 9-inch floating wake bait. I'm going to throw it in the water and see. I did a quick little, just throw it out and see what the action looked like, and I was really impressed with it. It had a great knock to it, real subtle, clack, 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 back and forth. So we'll get out there later today when the bite is good for top water, and we'll see if we can do anything with that. So keep an eye out for that. That video will be coming soon, later today. I'll probably have that up within a week or so too. But when you buy this, it comes in this beautiful box, padded with an extra tail, see-through green with gold and green flake. I'm going to have to cast that so that I can have some extras. I'll do a mold on that myself and cast it with some rubber worm scrap. Other than that, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right, what you want to see. I'm new to this, so you guys are going to learn with me. I'm going to learn with you. Again, throw a comment up there for my wife about the shirt, what you think, if you like it. If you want to see them go up for sale, maybe we can start making a couple, get them up for sale. You can help support the page. And take it easy, guys. Get out there, fish, catch yourself some fish, see what this feels like. Don't just watch my videos.